consciousness.
This meeting is being live streamed. Okay, we're on.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Look at that. It worked. It was Yeshua did it for you.
Yeah, see, yes, you can do it. That's.
You probably need to mute the YouTube if you didn't already.
I haven't got YouTube on, so I get YouTube on so I can see the comments then.
Yeah, you can see Tim's comments.
Oh, he loves it, doesn't he?
Tim over there, and our number one YouTube fan is Tim.
Our number one YouTube fan.
Well, I think
might be the only YouTube fan.
Well, come on, I was being positive there. There's probably 2 or 3 others.
Okay, so I've got a mute.
My mom.
Oh yeah, your mum. She's on it with us, isn't she?
Yeah.
Okay, where do I see the chats are there? So if I'm sorry guys, just bear with us. I'm going to move that over there, so all I've got is the chat.
Emily's just saturating us in color and love, so don't worry.
Yeah,
about it. I'm loving it.
I've got quite a lot out.
Okay, I'm going to do. Okay.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Phil.
And this is another fantastic episode of the Phil and Phil Show. And in Phil, we have a special guest today. So do you want to introduce?
So our special guest today is Emily. Emily is a Coloured Mirrors practitioner. We met, do you remember what year it was we met him?
2018.
2018.
Yeah.
So we met in 2018 on a Coloured Mirrors. Do you remember what the workshop was?
2018.
Oh, was it a 2018 workshop?
No, sorry. It was it not Love and Money? It was Love and Money. It was because there were 13 of us. It was it was Love and Money.
Okay, Love and Money.
Yeah,
so we did a clearing workshop called Love and Money, and we were both participants on that course. Mm-hmm. And that's the first time we met, and then we didn't see each other until this year. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Anyway, a little bit of brief history. So Emily, going through her journey with Coloured Mirrors, and I'll let you tell your proper story, has created her own style from what she did as being a fill me in, Emily, I'm going to get this wrong, this bit.
Interior designer.
I was going to say that, and I thought, no, it's not that. So Emily was an interior designer, and now what she's done is she's used her skill set from that and understanding houses and homes and people, and she's brought coloured mirrors in to then use the colour and the space to do energy clearing and set the home up to be harmonious. So I love that. So we're going to bring Emily in a minute for a chat. But I'm just going to start off with myself and Phil, and we're just going to touch base, see what's going on. In a pre-show thing, we started to touch on stuff, and I was like, actually, let's just put the camera on. So we are rolling. So Phil, you were talking about being in or starting a David Wolfe cleanse.
Yeah, so it's like a cleanse / detox / fast, but it's really like self-paced. So the first week you basically pare down, you go down to 1 meal a day. So maybe a salad or something, usually in the evening, like an evening meal. And then during the day, like you can do your smoothies and like some soups. You can even still do like a little bit of chocolate and stuff like that. But basically like you're trying to bring your calories. Of course you can with David the first week. You're trying to bring your calories down, eat less, go to more towards liquids. Just trying to bring that like down. And it's preparing you. It's a really smart idea. It actually feels really good. It actually makes it easier. So then coming into week 2, we're on like all liquids. So we're doing juices, pretty much juices all day, a little bit of chia, like just in juice. So not chia in milk. In the first week, we did chia in like a nut milk, seed milk. This week, we're doing it in a juice. Susan's made I've got some here right today. This is some chia in a charcoal lemonade. So there's some charcoal in there. You know, David's big into charcoal.
So when you say a lemon, Phil, when you say a lemonade, just to explain to people, so there's chia, and what else is in there?
Chia. What else? I think there's like lemon juice, water, of course, some charcoal, maybe a pinch of salt.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, pretty simple.
I was just wanting to get clarity on the lemonade.
It's it's just straight sugar, cane sugar, and I'm just kidding.
So basically, So from a raw food point of view, when we talk about lemonade, we're basically talking about lemon juice and water, right?
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, and you could add a little bit of sweetener if you wanted to, but generally that's the base. So you could add some apple juice if you wanted it sweeter, if you wanted to go, really more raw, or you could do like coconut sugar or something like that. So
Cool.
so that's that, and then just like a soup in the evening, and then we're doing enemas every day. We did a colonic at the start. I did a colonic yesterday, and then we'll see. I may move into a full-on fast next week, but it's been really good. I've been feeling really good and energetic, and there was a little bit of detox on Friday where my energy went down, but the rest of the time I haven't really missed chewing and eating so much. So it's a nice little program, and there's like probably a few thousand other people doing it, so it's pretty cool.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
Strong.
incredible.
yeah.
So my little escapade yesterday was because we're part of the stand in the park lot with the yellow.
Mhm.
Yellow, Emily, we can talk about yellow in a minute. I said, be really good. We'll go into yellow after this, Emily. So the stand in the park's all about yellow. So we have yellow coats, yellow bags, yellow flags, yellow umbrellas. Everyone's got something yellow. It's really fun. And they decided that we were going to do some rallies. So they got all these signs made up. They're big signs. They're probably 3 foot by 2 foot signs. And the sign that I had particularly, I chose this one, which was my choice, my body, right? So I'm all about my choice, my body. And other people had statistics about the vaccine. I'm not supposed to say that word.
Kicked off the
No, we'll get ticked off. Sorry, we'll get kicked off, ticked off, whatever, YouTube. So it's about this thing. And then then it talks about the statistics of, it's probably not up to date now because by the time they've got them printed and it's done, and it's the side effects, deaths and side effects. There was another one. Yeah, just talking about keep your choice, keep your sovereignty, no to I'm going to try and get around this one. No to passports, and no to cards. It's all about our freedom and keeping our sovereignty. And I think that's what I want to point out a little bit more. If we get any more signs done, is to talk about that, about actually not being against, but adding pro things on, like, save our sovereignty, save our being, save our whatever, because that's really important, I think. We
have to have the balance, because it's been so much of like the anti-energy, which is kind of needed, is the pushback energy. It just kind of made me think, like, so yesterday Susan and I went to the Great American Seed Up, and it was like a seed event, and it was where you could go buy seeds, and it's all non-GMO, heirloom varieties, not treated. And they had these big buckets of seeds, and you went and you got a scoop and you put it in a bag, and it came with a little card. So I got a ton of seeds, which is really great. I mean, it's just, so these are solutions that we kind of need to aspire to. So just as well as the sovereignty, reminding people of what solutions we do have, and it's going to be returning to the earth, returning to gardening, just kind of returning to community and nature. And it was a great event. It was really, really fun, really well attended.
Yeah, and the other thing that's actually coming from Stand in the Park now is I've had 2 women now talk to me in the group today, actually, about, are you still interested in coming in with some land? Are you still interested in moving to the Forest of Dean? Are you still interested in community? And I was like, yeah. And and the one woman said to me today, she said, look, I figured out really that land and water is the most important thing.
They're starting to say that now as well. Sorry to butt in, but they're starting to say that the new currency is going to be things like seeds, water, like that's going to be the currency.
Yeah, like as I walked out with all those seeds, I was like, this is more valuable than gold right now. I'm like, in a 6 months, like these seeds are probably going to be like 10 times the value. I mean, it's like, wow. No.
And of course, in America, one of the things that they're talking about potentially being of great value is going to be ammunition.
Mm.
I don't know what I was watching, but I was watching something, you know, and he was saying actually this is going to be the most valuable thing. And I was like, wow, if it goes that way, right? If we keep on the good timeline, if we keep focusing on land and community and our well-being, if we keep on that, maybe we can shift that timeline. You know, maybe if we can lift consciousness enough by doing our little protesting, by working like we're doing, you know, doing the great work that Em's now doing with people, and you're doing, Phil, and you know, and Charlie that's listening as well. She started up homeschooling. Maybe we'll get Charlie on one night to talk about her homeschooling that she's doing.
That'd be fabulous.
And this is what we need to be focusing on, right? We need to stop focusing on the problem now, and we need to start. How are we going to get out of this? You know, I'm not interested in going potentially where it's going.
Right.
I want to go. I really want to go to community. That feels really important to me. Is have like-minded people around, so we can create the sweat lodges, we can create saunas, we can create ceremony, we can create and grow food together, and we can create stability. You know, that's, we all, you know, really we live in such unstable times, and you know, we need a bit of stability, which is sanity.
Right. Yeah, I love that, Phil. We got to move into the solutions energy and the solutions focus. It's up to us. You know, we've been saying that old saying for a long time now. We're the ones we've been waiting for, kind of thing. And we really are. You know, we are holding that space. You know, and we are creating the change. So, but it takes us coming together. I come on this show and I feel more confident. But on my own, I'm just like, like it's overwhelming. It's stressful. Like I keep hearing the negative things that are going on. It's just like, kind of pulls you down, and then come on these shows and it's just, I get more positive. So this is part of my tribe and my community, as you like to say. It's our tribe, Phil. So
yeah, this is what tribe to me is slightly different to community. Community. It's interesting. As I said that, I felt that in, and it's like, oh, is it? So to me at this moment in time, right, by the time I finish this sentence, it might well change. Because as our philosophy is evolving out loud, right? If I said everything and didn't agree with it and carried on with that script, that's not authentic, and I'm not evolving, right? So Tim wrote, Phil M, the tribe is always with you. So I think one of the things for me, the difference between tribe and community, and of course they overlap and there's a similarity, but for me personally, community is about the people that I commune with personally not personally, on that physical level, right? So day to day, that's my community. And then now it seems my tribe is the people that I meet on YouTube and the internet, and that's building that bigger tribe. But what's the difference?
I was gonna flip it the other way. Like for me, tribe is like, you know, you're my tribe, like people I resonate with, whereas the community is people I interact with on the day-to-day kind of thing. So it's just like flip the switch on you.
No, absolutely, Phil. I get that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, do you want to jump in?
Just say that again for us about tribe. Just say that again.
So tribe, it feels like the people I interact with, like, you know, interacting with you, you're my tribe or my close family. Whereas community, it's like kind of the greater people I interact with in terms of business relationships, or, you know, organic food or the seed thing. That's my greater community of people who support me and support my tribe to carry out, you know, my tribe's mission. Like we have a tribe's mission. Because you think about a tribe, it's like, you know, you think of like Native Americans and it's kind of like that tribe, but their community might be their neighboring tribe down the road kind of thing. So that they interact with and maybe sell moccasins to. Yeah, so
it's interesting because I guess in the Native American days they would have just had tribes.
Yeah,
right.
I've never heard the Native Americans talk about community.
Right, but they would be interacting maybe with neighboring tribes.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. So this is our tribe. Oh, so Tim says tribe is spiritual. Ah, okay. So tribe is spiritual. I like that.
Don't you think we're all spiritual?
Yep, that's a good one.
No, I don't.
We are.
Some people are religious.
No, that's
Yeah,
just
but-
programming. They don't realize it. Sorry, I just said it.
Good. Thanks, Emily.
I'm dying to add. Can I add? I want to add to that
Please
conversation
jump
you're
in.
having.
I think that's the perfect segue now. So
Yeah.
go ahead.
No,
You're
I think
in.
for me, the real push for me from what's been happening over the last 18 months is me returning back to my natural state as much as possible. That's the direction I've really been pushed in. I don't mean by anyone outside of me. I just mean from within myself, and also the way the universe is pushing me and guiding me. It's like that's my journey in this, is that it's pushing me back to my natural state. That's everything from water, food, how I want to live my life moving forward, what's my lifestyle, and just everything to bring me back to that natural state, that sovereignty. That's what this is about for me. That's what I just wanted to. I think it's really strong, and I think there's a split. We're going to start to see this split even more, because there are people who are seeing things a certain way and from a different perception, but there are a very, very large proportion of people who aren't. But again, it's what we were talking about earlier, Phil. It's like we have to stepping out of duality and bridging that gap between unity, coming out of duality. It's big, it's massive. But there's a lot of people still stuck in the narrative, even though they see through the narrative, they're still stuck in the narrative. And it's this split. And now it's people who can show the way in relation to this nature and community, and how can we be what we came here to be.
It's interesting you saying that, Emily, because when I was a godfather for my mate's sons in 2010 maybe. And I got this message then that I was an usher.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to be an usher. What does that mean? And now you're just saying, you use the phrase showing people the way, so then we become way showers. And that's exactly what an usher is. An usher shows someone to somewhere. So it's like, and that was years ago, and I couldn't get it. And of course, this is exactly what we're doing, is we're showing up and we're showing people another way. And this is what I have to keep reminding myself and Phil, what we keep reminding each other as well as ourselves, is about unity. It's about seeing the separation and seeing the divide, and seeing, what was the word you said just now? Duality, and recognizing that duality, and remembering that we are all unified, remembering that all of us, even the people that don't look like they're here for a bigger purpose, are here for a bigger purpose, because actually they're pushing us. They're pushing us to wake up. They're pushing us to show up. They're pushing us to be who we are. So this is the conspiracy, right? The conspiracy is the universe is conspiring to get us lot to wake up.
Yes.
Those of us that think we're awake are the ones actually that are being shown to wake up.
Well, I also think it's about being I just want to add in, there's that term unity, because I have noticed that that's being brashed around a lot more, and it's recognizing the depth of what that actually means. And I think there's going to become a lot of misconception around what unity actually is. And I think it can fall into spiritual new age very, very easily.
Oh dear.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
What's unity for you then?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to ask, Phil. Well done. Yeah.
Of course.
It's about knowing what separation is, and like having, like feeling it, like actually feeling it, not just saying I'm at one with the universe, like not intellectually saying I'm at one with the universe, we're all one. It's like feeling into what separation is, feeling into what it means to be out of alignment with yourself and with out of alignment with life, and feeling into what duality is, and going through duality, going through the vibrations of separation, duality. Material and spiritual conflict is another way to describe it. And then recognizing that unity comes from within you. That's the only way I can describe it at this point in time. But I think for me, it's about feeling as well.
Yeah. That's the bit.
Yeah.
That's the bit that I really felt, Emily, when you were talking about unity.
Yeah.
Is actually really feeling that.
Yeah.
That, feeling and understanding duality, because that's, most people don't really feel duality. We all talk duality, but most of us don't actually feel on that level. We feel separation on a level, but not in an exploratory way. It's more in a suffering way, feeling separate and feeling the duality. But I think when you start to really experience the duality and the separation and understand that, and for me, I really understand that the separation I feel and the loneliness that I feel is the separation from, let's just use the word God and Mother Earth. That for me, that's my lot. And that goes back to what you were saying about earlier when you started talking about it's making you become sovereign. It's making you become yourself, making you go back to yourself. This is what Phil and I, isn't it, Phil? We talk about this quite a lot. It's coming back to ourselves and each other, which is, and that's really but partly why we kind of birthed this show, Phil, wasn't it? Was because of all the separation that was going on.
Okay.
And being able to communicate and then share our message and build, start to build that tribe. And it's great with yourself and Priscilla and the other people that we've had on the show, because it's creating unity.
Yeah, it is.
So Emily, that feels like a great time to turn the spotlight onto you.
All right then.
So just where do we start? What do we talk about? Where do we go? I know Charlotte's come on especially to hear this part of our talk.
Really?
About color and spaces. So do you want to talk a bit about your journey with colored mirrors?
Yeah, can do that. How long have you got?
Before we do that, I said we talk about yellow.
I was going to say that. Yeah, do you want to talk about yellow? Yeah.
Stand in the park. So yellow in the positive is courage, right? In the negative, Emily?
In the positive?
No. So yellow in the positive's courage.
And joy.
And joy. And in the negative?
Fear.
And
and kind
of and not doing, right?
It's cognitive, so it's overthinking, over processing. It's quite like an intellectual color, so obviously intellect in the positive, but it can be in the negative. It's anything to do with the head, so confusion, I don't know, I don't understand. All those programs. I don't know, I'm confused, worry, fear, that kind of thing. So and it's all to do with the head, being in the head.
I've got that.
Yep, same.
Yep.
And I think a lot of us do. And the complementary is violet, which is your crown chakra. So that's what causes the disconnect. So that's why we've just been talking about loneliness and feeling disconnected from God, the universe, however you want to describe it, whatever feels right for you. And then we've moved back into yellow. So we're doing the comps. But yeah, so where yellow is the solar plexus, it's all about being in the head in the negative.
Wow, that's so Stand in the Park.
Oh, really? Wow.
But also in the positive, it's that courage. So it's about Stand in the Park is about, not literally, but it's about separation, division, being lost, being lonely, being afraid, no one understanding. So it creates a community, a tribe, for everyone to come together and then go out, maybe as a group buy some land, go out and support people. And what we're doing as well is we're sharing our signs with each other, with each group, and there's a lot of sharing going on. There's a lot of coming together going on, and there's a lot of courage, which is yellow in the positive. But it's really interesting, the yellow dysfunction. And it's really, it's really quite clear.
But yeah, disconnect is violet as well. So it's interesting that you're talking about that.
So you're in your head. How do you use yellow? Do you use yellow to get out of your head, or do you use a different color?
Well, there are different ways you can work with color. You can be prescriptive in terms of using yellow or violet. Violet would go in deeper because it's complementary. Or you can be intuitive in the process, and you can pick a color that will help you shift out of being in your head. So there's different ways of doing it, but yellow's a great color to do it with.
So in effect, so the people going to Stand in the Park are probably in their heads, and they're using yellow, but it's a way to get, maybe to find their courage. Maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. It will foster courage. So if you think about being a yellow belly when you're scared, people, a scaredy cat.
Can't find it.
Right.
Also,
so you have somebody in that state. So then, often from that, scaredy cat level or being bullied, then they become stronger through that. So
absolutely. So
good.
If you look at the Native American stuff, I like to bring that in. The Navajo Nation used to dress in, say, yellow. They dress in yellow, completely wear yellow for a month. So they do 30 days of wearing yellow in order to start healing yellow issues. So when I did my practitioner training in Coloured Mirrors, I bought a load of t-shirts so I could wear yellow for a week, and pink for a week, and blue for a week, and red for a week. And I'll tell you what, when you walk onto a building site, or when I walked onto a building site with a pink t-shirt on, right, I had to be pretty courageous. So I did do yellow first.
Can't tell you the amounts of times I've heard that story.
Oh, from Priscilla.
Yeah, of you. She loves that story so much. So funny.
So go ahead. Yeah.
The other thing with yellow is, where if we're looking at Stand in the Park as an example, is okay, they may be in their head and there may be a level of fear there, but through clearing that, they're accessing joy, they're accessing laughter, they're accessing sun. Think of all the things in life that are yellow.
They're eating custard.
They're eating custard, which probably makes them happy. It's the colour of happiness as well.
Well, it's deep joy, isn't it?
Deep joy, yeah. And
that's one of the things that I noticed yesterday when we were doing that yellow sign rally, was the fear, the anxiety, the excitement, the joy, the tribe, the connection, the community, the sharing, the caring, the love. It's really interesting how all of those aspects of yellow all danced around and came out yesterday. It was really interesting.
Also, there was a protest here the other day, and they were stood outside the school and they had yellow signs. So I wonder if they were like a Stand in the Park network.
I've seen those yellow signs in some of those protests. Yeah.
There's a lot of people carrying yellow signs, which is really interesting because it's all about fear as well. So at some level, they're still subconsciously processing out their fear in relation to everything that's going on. And also the people, I said this earlier, didn't I? The people that see the yellow are also manifesting out their fear, and so it's serving everyone at some level.
As manifesting out their fear, right, they're growing courage, aren't they?
And for me, yellow is accessing more joy. And I think and actually this is really interesting because, I was saying I did a bath last night in this bottle, Alchemy, and I was coming out of yellow and violet. I could feel it because I've been doing yellow and violet for a good few years, and this bottle just came out like it was, as in like it just the bottle I bathed in is very, very specific frequency, and it's amazing at dissolving negative emotions. But I was coming out of negative yellow and violet last night, and it's very interesting where the yellow is all about accessing joy, comp being violet, which is all about grief. And so any situation that's bringing up grief, you can't access joy if you're still holding on to grief as well. So yeah, it's just interesting that we're talking about yellow and violet today. Yeah.
Interesting. So does grief sit in yellow?
Grief sits in violet.
Okay. Because I know it sits in the lungs, doesn't it? Physically it sits in the lungs, which was like,
But grief is violet, which is the disconnect. Grief of.
But also though, that then takes us to orange, which is trauma. To the sacral chakra. So that's about trauma, and that's going to give us massive disconnect. And then we're going to get into the blue, which is where there's so much trauma I can't speak about it, which gives us another level of disconnect.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about now, Phil, is the negative effect of a dysfunctional color, as opposed to, when people normally talk about color, they talk about it's nearly always the positive of color. But what we're looking at is the dysfunction of the color, because through healing the dysfunction, you get to the positive affirmation of the color. But if all you're doing is sticking the positive affirmation of the color in, you're never dealing with the trauma that's underneath any color. So what we do in Colored Mirrors is we dive into the dysfunction of the color so we can heal the dysfunction. And then when you heal the dysfunction, the positive aspects just show up.
The negatives go.
Yeah. I don't know if this is a change in topic, but so let's talk about the color, like a combination of colors. So the red and blue. So it's in America and probably in the UK, we've got the division of the political parties, the red versus the blue. And then we got the police energy, which is red and blue. It's like,
wow. Is that your police? Is that the police in the US?
Well, I mean, the light on the top is blue, and there's the red energy in there too. There's red energy in there too, and so there's that. So that division. So is there something? I mean, obviously there's a psychological effect that there's been played there with those colors.
Yeah. No, you're spot on. Do you want to go, Phil, or do you want me to go?
No, you go for it.
Color combinations, I'm not an expert on whatsoever, but Melissa Jolly, who channeled in Color Mirrors, and Karani, they've actually got a book called Color Combinations, and they've gone through every single color combination when you put two colors together. But you're 100% right. It brings up, you can't even describe it, like color combinations, it will always bring up something different. And that's what's so incredible about the Color Mirrors system, right? Something going on with my throat there. That's what's so amazing about Color Mirrors system, is that you can clear on one bottle, and then as soon as you put it with another bottle, it will bring something else up. So yeah, you're 100% right. Color combinations,
I mean, they've got
very, very strong,
especially on the political energy. They've got people associated. I'm blue, and this is a red state. This is the blue state, and these people have bound into those well, I'm the fire, and I'm resonating with that red, and I'm resonating with the blue, and it's like the left, the right, it's like,
it's really interesting, right? Because if you look at the dysfunction of blue, it's the need to feel safe. So lots of people are going to feel safe in a blue state, right?
Oh.
And then you've got red, which is all about fire and fuck it, I'm gonna blast through this. But also it's about red, Emily, red in the dysfunction,
Negative of love and money.
And not being connected to, not being grounded, not being rooted.
Yeah. And how am I going to survive?
That's right. How am I going to survive? Which of course brings out the anger. So red brings out the anger.
Yeah.
You can see that there's like that, and it's kind of been that the red has been like these people getting into the freedom movement, but they tend to be on the extreme level of like very angry and like, I can do this and protect my family and like good sovereignty and like land, and then the other people are like, oh, safety and the government will protect me, and like, you know, safety of this is my tribe and these people are thinking alike and we'll keep each other safe, and grandma, and like it's kind of those extremes that we've kind of come to.
There you go, and that's blue and red perfectly.
Yeah. Wow.
It's amazing the programming that goes on with color. That's the thing. And if you go back to the simple fact that, well, I don't remember being taught about color in school. You get given crayons and that kind of thing, but no one ever teaches you, of course they wouldn't teach you in school, what color is, and that color's a vibration.
It's so critical.
So, yeah, it's huge.
Well, everything's color, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everything's color, and color is everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there was a friend of mine, and he was working on a color keyboard. So instead of playing the keyboard through notes, he was working out. So turquoise is C sharp. So he was working out all of the notes so you could play through color, not play through notes.
Oh, that's really interesting when you link up color and sound like that. Yeah, it's super strong.
So on his squeeze box accordion, he had the you know, the little round colored sticky things. He had those stuck on his keys so he could play through color.
Wow.
And that, bless him, he passed away, but that's what he was working on, was so people could play through color, as opposed to they didn't have to read music, they could just read colors.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
So,
also, just going back onto color combinations, there are some really strong color combos that link into past lives.
I was going to talk about that. So now you've said that, Emily, right?
Yeah.
Well, have you guys seen the film V for Vendetta?
Mm-mm.
Haven't you?
Probably a long time ago, and I've seen like shorts of it. Yes.
So. Okay, so I watched it the other day, a couple of weeks ago.
Is that really what you were going to say? You were going to talk about past lives?
No, I was going to talk about color combination and past lives.
Oh, okay, right.
And then I kind of let it go, and then you brought it up again, which is perfect.
Yeah.
And V for Vendetta is all about the trauma of Atlantis.
Oh, okay, yeah. Is it?
Yeah, because you know why?
Why?
What colors that?
Well, it's turquoise and copper.
Black and red, though, isn't it?
Oh, black and red. Oh, is that how you see Atlantis?
The trauma from Atlantis is black and red.
Oh.
That's what I was taught. I might have to go and talk to Priscilla again. And one of the things that I noticed, because Priscilla was talking about, I think it was when we did teachers. Yeah. Priscilla was talking about all horror movies are black and red.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I just don't. I'm just going to the bottle in the system that's G3. Okay.
Yes. So it's different. So this is specifically about bringing the trauma up. It's black and red, and V for Vendetta. Oh yeah. So
I actually just went with Blue Angel.
It's a red V on a black background.
Yeah.
And then when they send the train to blow up the Houses of Parliament, it's done with red roses. And he's in a black cape with a red V on and a mask with red lips on. So actually, it's all about. So do you remember the program, Phil, the Black Magic Box? Not the program. It was an advert. It was chocolates, the Black Magic Box, Magic chocolate. That was red and black.
Mm.
So by showing all these adverts and all these movies in red and black, it just keeps bringing up the trauma of Atlantis. So what happens when we're in trauma is we can't function.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Now go to what else is black and red, and you'll start seeing it. And I don't know what the answer is right now, but you'll see it everywhere. And you'll be like, Oh my God.
The black and red's a really powerful combination.
And weirdly, I just had to get blue out.
Well,
Yeah.
so what?
Not weird, but
The style of like the black dress and the red lipstick, right?
yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
The red boots and things like that, right? It's like, ooh.
What came up for me then?
The red dress and the black boots. Like it's
Yes.
like that's the
Exactly that, and that's the
divided
combination.
into sexual energy or a dark
Which
side
is
of that.
orange. Yeah, which is
Mm.
orange. So it automatically puts a woman into her traumatic state around that. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Mm.
You know, and of course, with the downfall of Atlantis, it was, you know, apparently, it was.
What do you mean? Apparently.
Well, yeah. All right, Emily. It was pretty horrendous.
Yeah, it was diabolical. No, let's not go to Atlantis.
No,
now.
let's not go there.
Let's not go there.
That was mold advice I just gave us then. Because it's
nice.
What's really interesting, Phil, when I hang out with Emily or someone talking about this stuff, I start to feel the waves of emotion coming up when we start to get into it.
Well, I'm just Mr. Practical with my colors about politics. I got another color combination that we can talk about that's used in advertising and fast food. So what are those colors?
Red and yellow. I've written it down. I was like, I was going to say to you, think about McDonald's. That's a great one.
Creates hunger.
Yeah, right.
So it creates hunger. But also though, Phil, you've got the golden arches, right? The golden arches, which is about I am. So on another level, if you eat our food, you'll reach enlightenment.
Also think about what the golden arches are. There is a connotation in there if you see it and look into it.
Go on then.
Female anatomy.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Haven't seen
so
that
it's
one.
Programming people into that as well. It's deep, but yeah.
Right. No, yeah, totally.
But the red and yellow, yes, very strong.
Yeah, so that's all about creating hunger and yumminess, and you know, and their need to feel safe. So if you've got red on a positive level, no, what was red? What was you saying about red? And
how am I going to survive?
How am I going to survive? So you've got red, which on that level is showing us that actually, you can survive and reach heaven if you eat this food. That's the red is, I can survive, even though it might trigger the how am I going to survive. And then you've got, because those arches are golden, so you've got the I am, the expression, the godliness. So if you eat our food, you can reach enlightenment. There's that really subtle programming going on there as well.
Yeah, well, and also that yellow is the stomach area, solar, so it is all to do with eating as well. That
right.
Yeah, super clever.
So it creates hunger and appetite.
So these blasts of color that are bright and pure that we see, like they're kind of artificial. Like you don't see those in nature in such a form. Like in nature, you would see maybe a yellow flower and maybe a red flower, and like the colors are more pastel or subtle in nature, and nature feels more nourishing, where these strong environments of the fast food restaurant or whatever it is, they feel more jarring energetically. So I don't know what I'm saying, I'm just talking. So
what's coming up for me there is they are being used. So this, if we call it the secret knowledge of color, is being used and is being coded and is being manipulated in a way to dumb people down, which is probably why you're calling it out as jarring, like those color combinations together. But that's what's coming through for me now. It's like those colors are being coded. They're being coded in a low vibrational, however they code things, and that negatively impacts society. It's a way of mass programming. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
Right.
In the colour of our sign, Emily.
Yeah.
Gold. The I am. Silver.
Okay. Yeah.
And then the blue.
Nice.
That doesn't look like silver, but that is silver. And when I made it, I can't remember what's silver about now. Do you remember?
Silver's about like cutting through, like it's very direct energy. So clear's, yeah, it's just like like think of like a diamond light drilling through. Clear's resistance.
Cuts through the bullshit, really.
Yeah.
Cuts through the bullshit on the way to enlightenment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can feel safe doing it.
Okay. Yeah.
So we can cut through the bullshit on our way to enlightenment and feel safe. That's what our sign's about. So I purposely chose those colours, right? That wasn't randomly lucky, but I got the size of the sign a little bit wrong. So I've got to cut it and get it the right size. It's just a few, what was it, Phil, about 1/4 inch out. So I've got to get that sorted out and cut it and get it the right size.
Does that answer that question though, in terms of the jarring energy of the?
So yeah, I wanted to add to that. Like the other thing is jarring is, there's a lot of these like department stores or like that are so bright, like just like their light is like intensely white, bright, and it's like it's not a natural light. Like natural light is more subtle and soft. Whereas these stores, like I can't even go in them. There's some of them just like they have so much light. It's like full on saturation.
Annoying.
And it's like, ugh, like it's like jarring energy kind of thing, and everything like is jumping out at you kind of thing. Like, and I think that's like all those different colors and yeah.
So what you just your body language that you just did then, Phil, was trauma.
Right.
So what happens is, as soon as you walk in the shop, you're traumatized. What are you going to do if you're traumatized?
You want to be safe and you want to buy things to comfort you.
You're going to buy shit you don't want.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's like, oh, this will make me feel better. I'm going to get this.
Yeah. Because you've numbed out as well.
You've numbed out, you're traumatized. So you're going to, and in some cases, you're going to buy whatever you can just to get out the fucking shop.
But also to satisfy yourself, to get you out of the trauma.
Yeah. So
all of those things.
It's that numbing. It's that gratification. Oh, I've gone. How often do you hear this? I've gone shopping, so I bought myself a treat.
Well, look at what the most of the society in the UK does at the moment. They go shopping on a Saturday.
It's because they can't go out.
Pre-lockdown.
They can't go shopping this Saturday. There's no fuel.
I know.
Well, now it's just all online, right? So there's probably people like shopping even more for comfort, and I'm sure there's all sorts of colors being used in that. So
well, yeah, but we'll look into that. Look at the programming that goes into technology and the stuff they put in phones to get people addicted to that, so that they're then scrolling. Very, very interesting. And
I find myself scrolling, and I'm like, oh, for God's sake, stop it.
Do you know what that is, though? Am I allowed to say this on this show? Starts with a B. It's black goo.
Yeah, you can say that because no one will understand.
Graphene, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Graphene oxide is black goo.
Yeah,
right.
But of course I hadn't put the ancient technology of black goo and oxide graphene in the same bed. I hadn't, because I talked to you, Phil, about black goo before, haven't I?
Just refreshers. The
only thing is you have to be careful what you're saying, don't you?
Well, yeah, you do, but I mean,
it's as bad as that, isn't it?
If it happens, it happens. So just do the best we can.
So now we've mentioned about the black stuff, right?
Just call it black goo. That's good.
I think
we can't call it BG because that's already all over the internet.
Okay.
It's actually a recognized thing. So
okay.
So the black stuff, like that stuff, that stuff is all. So the black stuff that we're talking about, and this, and the graphene, and all of that stuff,
and carbon with Greta.
It's all the same.
Oh my God! Did you see that the other day? Greta. Oh my God.
She has like black goo on her face, and like so it's covered this side. She can only see the one eye, of course. It's pretty intense.
But it looks like petrol. It looks like petrol, like coming down her.
Oh, fuel shortage. Interesting.
But also, it's like if you think about that to go one step further, it's like a mask, isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah, it's also that.
So you're half alien, half human. So you're
Also
half
that.
AI,
Well, of
half
course.
human. Right?
Transhumanism is right
So
there.
there's so much. I hadn't seen that, but you've got the black stuff. You've got the fuel thing. You've got the black thing, and then you've got, you know, you've kind of got this mask, which is like the black stuff is a representation of AI, right? So actually, they're showing us transhumanism in the AI.
Yeah.
Right.
What a great show it is again. And Emily hasn't told us anything about herself yet.
Started, yeah. Oh God. Can I just go back though on that thing you were talking about? Because this might be a good entry
Yeah, just
point.
as long as you use code words.
Coding, yeah, of course. You know, you were saying, Phil, about how when you hate it when you go into like a shop and it feels that
jarring. Yeah.
That's like that's looking at it from a spatial design perspective.
Yeah.
Well, at work, I don't turn my lights on in my office. I'm lucky to have outside windows, but I rarely turn my lights on unless it's like a super cloudy day. But like I don't turn my lights on in my office because it's too jarring for me. I mean, it's probably because I'm more sensitive and whatever, detox and stuff, but I can't handle those fluorescent lights. Even though we have full spectrum lights, but I still don't like them. So.
There's quite a lot around lighting that I need to do some research into, because there's a whole narrative around LEDs and they're actually not good for us at all.
They're horrendous.
They're too bright, so it's the other way. So we do have some LEDs here in this and in our manufacturing facility, but we've got the soft ones, so they're like soft. They're a lot softer. So
yeah, that's what we call over here. We call that warm white.
Right.
So the warm, so the thing with the warm light is that they're not as much blue light as the white light.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to eliminate. Is we need to eliminate that blue light.
So where are we going to go, Emily?
Yeah, come on. Let's Charlotte's been waiting very patiently for this. So where do you want to start? Now we're halfway through the show.
Perfect show. This is perfect. It's absolutely
so. It's been amazing because it's really taken us deep with color, which is fun. You know, it's been really great. Maybe we'll have you back on, Emily, and we'll just dive into color one night.
Yeah,
you know, I know we're doing color, but at the minute I wanted you to bring your story in and your interior design and it's all right. My brain was just going wherever it was going then, about going, oh well, maybe we ought to make that another show. And but anyway, so either we carry on about color like we're talking now and just carry on in the flow with it, and then bring you on so you can actually talk about what you were coming on to talk about tonight, or we can stop what we were talking about and you can then do your story. What feels best to you guys?
I feel like this is the flow for Emily to jump in now. This is what
it
was.
Okay, cool.
Let's do it.
Well, I might as well start right back at the beginning, like how I discovered color mirrors. So 2017. Okay, so I'll just share. I'm quite open with my previous life, 2017. I was at a very, 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 very low point in my life. And I don't like the label depression because everyone has different experiences with it. And I don't think you can just label it in one way. But I would say that a lot of my life, I was kind of shrouded in that without realizing. So yeah, summer 2017 was my biggest low point. That was like the crux. And I'd, funnily enough, been on holiday in Greece. And my energy really shifted there, and I didn't know what was going on. I'd never heard of Atlantis at this point in time of my life either. But I just knew that my energy was really shifting. And I got back to the UK, and I was back in the office for a week. I was working for quite a high-profile brand in London at the time, and I was like,
"You can share that on a show if you want to."
So I used to work for Linley, who are high-end bespoke furniture designers, and they also have an interior design sector. Linley is very famous for their inlay marquetry. Anyway, that was where I was working at the time. And I got back to the office and I was like, this is not the holiday blues. Like, I'm fed up of feeling like this and I've had enough. So I can't quite remember when I did my vision board. Anyway, I did a vision board and that definitely kickstarted something for me. Mum had found this vision board workshop and she was like, do you want to do this? And I'd found something else about self-love. And they were both the same price. And I was like, I'm going to do the vision board. Something said, do the vision board. That opened up. I could talk about for an hour about my vision board and how it like completely opened up my journey. But this week back at work, and I then had a bit of a falling out with a friend at the weekend. And I was just going through this phase in my life where I was like, I'm done with living in London. I'm done with going to the pub at the weekends and sitting with my friends and watching them drowning their sorrows in alcohol and like just going on this career ladder that wasn't really going anywhere. And so I was going through this phase that I didn't really want to see people on the weekends. I didn't want to do what we were doing. And I ended up having a bit of a falling out with a friend, which is very unlike me. But what happened was it forced me into, well, what am I going to do today? And then I suddenly just got a very, very strong calling. And it was like, go to Richmond. And I was like, this is weird. And I was living in Clapham Junction at the moment. Once I'd got that message, I was like going on my way. And cut a long story short, I stumbled across a psychic and I had no intention of having any kind of reading that day. I just was really drawn to the energy of Richmond. I won't go into all the detail, but yeah. And weirdly that you were talking about going into shops and like all that noise and like just couldn't go into shops and things, because that was the first time I ever went into a shop and I was like, I just can't have this noise around me anymore. There was something really pushing me away from like materialism. Anyway, I had this psychic reading and this lady said to me, you're really creative, aren't you? This is the first thing she said. She said, you're really creative. And I was like, well, I'm an interior designer, but I'm kind of just sat at my desk doing schedules at the moment. So not really. And then the next thing she said to me was colour therapy. And I went, I'm really sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. Never heard of it.
I love that.
And so I had this reading. It was quite a quick reading. I think it was like half an hour. Anyway, she kept coming back to colour therapy. I don't think she knew what it was. She couldn't tell me anything. I just got this really strong message. She was like, you're really gifted with colour. You've got to go and find out what it is. And that was it really. What it did was, in my very, very low point, it gave me inspiration and excitement to go out and research something else. And then I kind of fell into theta. That's when I discovered theta healing, which is a different energy modality. And it was about 6 months later where a friend of my mum said to me, have you heard of Priscilla, who you've had on your show? And I said, no, I haven't. And she said, well, she works with the colour. Oh, that was it for me. So with theta was a really big gateway for me in terms of opening up my brow chakra and recognizing that, you know, we're more than just mere human beings. And I was seeing colour really, really strongly through my third eye, like if I was going into a meditation. So I was sharing this with my mum's friend and all these things that I've been doing over the last 6 months since I saw that psychic. And she said, oh, have you heard of Priscilla? She works with colour in a different way. You might be interested. And I looked up her website and I saw those Colour Mirrors bottles and I was like, right, I'm there. And so that's how I discovered Colour Mirrors. And it's totally transformed my life, genuinely. 360, 180, totally transformed my life. So I work with it in my personal life quite intensely, and it's now become a very big part of my business as well. So yeah, that's how I found it. And I suppose to give you some examples of kind of the space what's it changed for me? I think it's changed mental health, definitely shifted me out of depression, and anxiety. I didn't even realize I had that, because I was always stuck in the past or worried about the future as well, which is essentially what depression and anxiety are. So yeah. And then first and foremost, changed my relationship with myself. It's self-love, like taught me about self-love. It's also massively changed all of my relationships with my family, like within my immediate family. So I've had really, really big shifts with my mom, my dad. Not that my relationships with them were bad before, but like the subconscious connection that you're not aware of has shifted things massively. And with my brother as well, one of my brothers. What else has it shifted? Shifted me coming out of corporate, setting up my own business. I am in the process of healing my relationship with money. And then just massively shifted my perceptions on life, what life is, what it means to be here. What else has it shifted? I did actually just jot this down because it was quite healthy to just kind of reflect on it. Yeah, it's definitely cleared a massive heaviness for me, massive heaviness. And yeah, seeing more clearly, expressing, feeling, like actually feeling, coming out of numb out, returning to my natural state. And what's the other thing I was just about to say? Pulling my energy back to me. Oh, my psychic gifts as well. It's definitely allowing me to access those with more ease as well. So yeah, I mean, I could carry on, but it is the most amazing tool. It's really, really fast. And you can go as deep with it as you want to, and you can go as far as you want to with it. But it takes you to the darkness.
When you say deep with it, Emily, you just said you can go as deep as you want with it. What, for people that don't understand what you're talking about, like going with color, what do you mean by you can go as deep as you like to? How can you explain that, do you think?
Well, I think each bottle, if you look at each bottle just on surface level, you can read it through its color frequencies, you can read it through its number, you can read it through its name, and you can read it through its meaning. And you can also go on, sorry. The
number of that bottle, sorry to interrupt you there, but I just wanted to get the number of that bottle. What number? C6. Sorry?
C6, which is actually bottle 42.
So 42 in itself is an amazing number, isn't it? Because that's a Saturn return.
Is 42. It?
Mm. So and what I was just thinking about your journey started at the
beginning, my Saturn return.
in your fourth Saturn return.
My first Saturn return.
Every 7 years.
Okay, yeah. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I thought your major Saturn return was your fourth one.
Yeah, because you've done 3. So
yeah.
The first one is your physical body. The second, the first 7 years is your physical body. The second 7 years is your emotional body.
Yeah.
And the third 7 years is your spiritual body, which takes you to 21. So when I was a youngster, 21, you got the key to the door. So it's so 21's the key, right? And bottle 21 is the key, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you got that other 7, which is your fourth 7, which takes you to 28.
Yeah.
And then, so that's like your first 7th again, really.
Yeah.
So it's your first 7th as an adult.
Yeah, and 28 is new beginnings as well.
Right. So it's no shock that it happened in the beginning of your fourth 7th, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, your fifth 7th, the beginning of your fifth 7th.
Yeah, I was just coming out of third, going into fourth.
The third one ends at 21.
Oh.
3 7 to 21.
Oh, sorry.
And your fourth is to 28, so it was your fifth.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So 28, so that takes you to your 35. And then your sixth one takes you to your 42.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've got bottle 42 here.
Which also then relates to bottle 6, doesn't it, in numerology?
Yeah.
to number 6, sorry. And then if you went to bottle 6, that would take you to a deep. So that's kind of what we're talking about, isn't it? So on the surface, you're doing a blue bottle.
Yeah.
And the next level down, you're doing bottle 42, which is your 6 Saturn return.
Yeah.
And 4 and 2 is 6, which takes you back down to bottle 6.
Yeah.
Do you remember what colour bottle 6 is?
Which is double pink Venus.
So not only are you doing Venus, but you're doing double red with the light shone through it, which is full on amplified red, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what you mean by going deeper with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Well, but that's the beauty of color mirrors. It's like there is no right or wrong, and it's how you perceive it, and it's what it means to you, and it's how deep do you want to go with those connections. And the thing I was going to say around it is, yes, you can look at it from face value of, okay, this is the meaning, but every time you go to a bottle, it gives you a new layer, a new meaning, a new insight. There's always more, and you can keep going. You can do color mirrors for a little bit in your life, and this is my perception, but some people come to it and like they get to a good stage with where they're at in their life, and then they've had enough with it, or they move on with it, which is like anything, or you just keep going and going and going and going. And you could say, well, when's it going to end? But then is it ever going to end? I don't know. At the moment, I'm in a phase of I just want to keep going. I want to keep going because I know that my life is getting better and better and better. So I'm not going to stop now. I'm going to keep going with it. But yeah, that's what I mean by going deeper with it. But it also, I don't even know how you describe it. Going deeper. Like, how do you describe going deeper with it? I mean,
well, I think Emily, what we just discussed about the bottles is, I suppose that's. But then for people that don't understand, that we haven't told them anything.
But also, I think. Well, okay, here's another way of describing it. It's called color mirrors. So it's saying to you straight off that color mirrors you. So it's showing you every aspect of you that's reflecting from the outside world to you. So you're going to keep going deeper and deeper and deeper within yourself. To unearth that layer of darkness, that layer of darkness, that layer of darkness, to keep accessing the light, the more you access the light. And it's not about bypassing the darkness to just get to the light. We can't just have the light without the dark. So I suppose it's just that thing around where it's always reflecting back to you what's going on internally.
Can I just add in there about that? Because I think it's really important. What you were just saying then about the light, because one of the mistakes that the light workers make is they chase the light. And what we've got to remember is the closer we get to the source of light, the darker the shadow is behind.
Mm-hmm.
So by doing something like colored mirrors, you're getting to the light from the darkness.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to mention your thing about G8.
Oh, go on.
Well, like I was going to talk about G8 as in like it takes you to the black of life.
To the black goo.
Well, not the black goo, but yeah, it does. But also just the darkness. And the more you explore that, and there's some deep topics within that black, you don't even, within black, there's just so much depth to it. And that's what I mean by going deeper as well. Like you can keep going into the black.
Can I jump in with an analogy here as I see it? So it will connect it to the raw food energy. So somebody's like, well, I did a 1-day juice cleanse. So they went one layer. So they maybe felt a little bit better. And they maybe detoxed what they ate last week. The day before. But then, like Phil at the beginning of last year did a 40-day juice cleanse and he went deep, so you start to go layers and layers and layers, or layers of an onion, as it were. We feel better for a while and then we go, okay, wow, we reached another thing, or a trauma comes up from childhood or something like that. And it's like, we can go to a certain level, but life is just continually unfolding and things that we're working through. And that's why we're here.
Yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
we figure all the physical stuff out, and then we're working on past life karmas or traumas or things like that. Who knows? So I think
Yeah.
that's what you mean by going deep. It's like it's this never-ending journey. It's like it's never finished, because otherwise we'll move on from this plane maybe, or we'll be helping others, whatever. Our karma's complete, but we're here to process through those. It's not going to be easy. We're going to go through multiple dark nights of the soul and go through those. I think that's what you mean. So that's my analogy.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. Yeah, totally resonate. There we go. There it is.
Is G8.
This is really interesting. So Phil was like, so we were talking, and he was at the psychedelic drug festival thing.
Phil, come on! I was at Medicine Festival.
the drug event. But he wasn't taking anything. But he was just like, maybe I should take something. I really want to go deeper. It's like I want to go deeper. Maybe I should do some ayahuasca or something like that, right? And then he's like, and he's feeling really good, and he's like, and then then the next thing I'm like, he's sick, and he's like, what happened, Phil? And he's like, he did the G8, and he got what he asked for.
Yeah. Oh God.
I had to completely.
Since we've been doing the show, you've been like, be careful what you ask for. And what did Phil do? I don't know, I'm just going to ask for full on, like, I want this full on release. And you're like, you got it, buddy.
So you said, I want to go deeper.
Yeah. Basically, right? I want to let go. And you feel like I need to, I'm like, I'm holding on, right? Well, go ahead, Phil, talk about it.
But also, when you said to me, what do you mean by going deeper? I automatically thought of G8, and that's what Color Mirrors offers. It offers G8, the black, the void of creation, the depth, the darkness of light. It offers that.
The suffering of humanity.
Yeah.
And that's, and also when we do things like G8, of course, we're not only lifting ourselves. And I didn't, if I'd have thought about this, I wouldn't have done it right. This isn't just about lifting ourselves out of the darkness to the light. This is about lifting humanity's consciousness out of the dark to the light. So this bottle actually is like in the colored mirror system is like the ultimate bottle of service, which, this isn't, it really isn't for the lighthearted.
No, not when you buy it 7 times.
Not when I buy it 7 times, no.
I can't. I actually, I'll be honest, I don't enjoy bathing in G8. It's really hard to bath in it. So to bath in it 7 times consecutively, to go on that journey, that's massive. I've bathed in it twice, and
Well, I said to you earlier when I spoke to Emily, but I was talking to Emily earlier, Phil, and I said, when you come on the show, this is better than I was expecting it to be, Emily. So I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And I bathed for an hour and a half, and Phil, the movie I decided to watch was.
Oh God. Oh my goodness.
So I decided to watch. So the bottle I did last time, it was Star Trek, and it was all about the obliteration of Spock's planet. I've forgotten what it's called now. And where
Spock's
they turn
planet. What's that?
This is really
Spock's home planet, which is
so
Vulcan.
they annihilated Vulcan. But what they did, Emily, and I didn't realize, was they turned Vulcan into a black hole.
Yeah, every film is about turning things into a black hole. Yeah.
So that one was about going into the black hole.
Yeah.
This one was about going into the darkness while I was doing the darkest bottle of the whole of G8. I think Priscilla will love that one.
Yeah, I bet. But that again is the most incredible thing about Color Mirrors. You can't make it up. Every time you do a bath, there's always something. Like, I'll do various different things. Sometimes I will whack my iPad and I'll put some video up, and it's like, I don't really know what I'm going to watch, and what comes up is like, well, that's what I'm bathing like, and it just because your vibration is matching it. Same with the bottles, like it's because it's just matching your vibration. Sorry, this roll-on's going mental.
All right, give us all a bit.
Same with my clients. It's like they get the perfect message every time.
So you just said there, this roll-on's going mental, Emily. You can't get away with stuff, right? So what's that for?
I have got, I'll just show so it's easier to understand. I've got, so Colour Mirrors do a roll-on. In fact, I've got specials, but they've got traditional chakras as roll-ons. So I've got the enlightened chakras. So just like the sprays, you use the roll-ons, you can put them on your temple points. I'm just putting them on my wrist, but this one is like flowing out literally. So I'm just putting it on. But this is C11, which is your enlightened solar plexus. So you've got,
which is yellow.
It's gold. It's double gold.
Sorry, what I'm saying is that that's your enlightened yellow.
Yeah, it's one step up. Yeah, totally. Yeah, of course. Yes, absolutely. So it's, yeah. And it's also where it's the gold, it's your brow chakra, indigo.
Oh, because it's the complementary to the indigo, the brow chakra.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pale gold. Yeah, but you are 100% right. Yellow then shifts into gold, which then shifts into authentic pale gold. But it's literally just pouring out of this roll on. And again, this is something colour does. If you need that colour, it will just get on you somehow. A bottle smashed on me the other day.
Oh, do you know what? I just was thinking about that in my mind just before I was thinking, when you talk about that bottle that broke on you the other day.
Yeah. So I was meditating with this bottle, and it's a special. It's one of Priscilla's specials. It's called Alchemy. It's actually, I think it's gold. And then it's mercury.
Oh wow.
It is the most amazing bottle. It's pretty hard. Like it's I prefer it to G8, but it's very, very full on. But where it's mercury, so you know, like with a thermometer,
yeah,
the mercury like pushes up when the temperature changes. So that's what mercury does. So it finds low vibrations. It goes in and finds the last bits of that, and then pushes them up. So it's really quick, pushes it up really quickly. Negative emotions, I mean, or programming or whatever, beliefs, and then it just does this thing where it's called alchemy. So the gold and the mercury are representative of masculine and feminine energy, and so it just dissolves the negative energy that you're kind of clearing on. But yeah, that bottle smashed on me the other day. It didn't smash, it popped. Like, I've never experienced anything.
So I'm guessing then you were laying in the bath with it on your chest.
No, I was meditating with it.
Oh wow!
Because I often like will lay bottles on my body if I'm doing like a meditation, and I was like, well, I better get in the bath. So I just quickly got in the bath and put it in, and then when I opened it, it exploded in the bath. But I was meditating with it, and then yeah.
Oh wow! So you weren't in the bath at all. You were lying down with it on your chest with all your clothes on, and it just went. Poof.
Yeah.
Man, that must have made a right mess.
No, it didn't. It's very clever. It just cracked, but still held its container.
Yeah, I've had a bottle. Yeah.
But then I just knew that was the message, that I needed that energy right there and then. So I just got straight in the bath. And then when I opened it, where the lid opened and released the pressure, the front bit of glass that cracked just went, and that fell in my bath. So it wasn't actually that messy. It was fine.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it was amazing.
Let's go to the next part of your story. We'll get there in a minute. We'll get there in a minute, Phil. The next part of your story is how now use your knowledge of interior design and houses and homes and colour. And am I right that you actually now use the colour to clear space for people?
Yes, in various different ways. So one of the things I do is physical energy space clearing, and I use colour and sound in that process. So that's kind of like using where people space clear with sage. I do it with colour and sound. So to start that process, I dowse, and I dowse with copper rods, and I also just dowse with my body as well. and then I work with the color. This is why I just love working with it, because it's so intuitive, and it sounds really weird, but it talks to me and I talk to it, and we have this incredible relationship. But yeah, it's really cool.
On this show.
So once I've dowsed in that process, the color just goes down, and the only way I can describe it is it goes down. And each space clearing is always different, like there's no one set way, but I'll just use one example. So yeah, there was this one office that I was clearing, and I was really picking up on bands of energy, kind of going, it was like left to right, keeping it simple, but like 4 big bands across this space. So that's what I was picking up intuitively, that there was discordant energy in relation to the space and the land that it was connected with. And so I just got the color down and just let the color go down how it wanted to. When I say get the color down, I mean use the bottles.
You mean use so what you mean there is you're using whole bottles?
Yeah, I literally use these, keep them closed, use the sprays, and they go down on these bands that I can feel. So that goes down. So the color's there doing its thing, because each of these bottles has its own like energy vortex as well. So it's really, really strong. So that goes down, and then I've got a crystal quartz gong that I get, a triangle that I get out. It's like a prism. So I use the sound in the process where I'm clearing the energy. I use sound, and I actually spray the color with color sprays. So the color and sound combination clear the discordant energy, and I redirect the energy. I then also sometimes kind of go into Reiki, but through my body. It becomes very, very intuitive. So I redirect energy using very, very large Reiki symbols, and I kind of like play with my gong in like a very space, like using shapes with it. So that's the clearing process. And then there's just a point in time where the color goes, it's time to move. It's done. It's like clearing the discordant energy. And then I turn it into crystal grid, like star grids, whatever but
when you say star grid, it's okay talking to me.
The color, what do I mean? Yeah, the color directs me. So a star grid is kind of like sacred geometry. And so you're creating a pattern essentially in a positive formation that recharges the energy, and that's how I would describe a star grid. How would you describe one?
Yeah, sorry, I'm distracted by what Tim is writing. He just popped another one up, and he said, you're highly in tune with the vibrations of your surroundings and the parallel vibrations from color. And then he wrote, your aura is a wonderful pure blue with a yellow haze.
Is that me?
That's you. I think he didn't say, but I think Tim, I'm talking about Emily. Interesting. Tim keeps sharing. He keeps sharing these little snippets of information about himself without sharing anything about himself, right?
So that's what I call a star grid. So I'm turning it into sacred geometry, but I'm not turning it in. The colors telling me where to place it.
Yeah, the color tells you what to do.
Yeah, totally. And then I charge that up with the sound. So that's the energy space clearing. So that clears physical energy. Well, all energy is physical, but it's clearing in the actual space, right? Yeah. So I've seen people, family relationship healings, clearing ley lines, clearing discordant energy in the land, clearing out of past energies, past lives. It's a general like raise in vibration for the home. It creates calm and harmony. I've helped people with leasehold and freehold selling issues. Massive decluttering happens for people, like, and that's amazing to watch that. What else? Infrastructure. So I've had clients who had like massive leak in their ceiling, and it just wouldn't heal. It wouldn't. Every time a builder came to fix it, it would come down again because they hadn't gone to the crux issue.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I've done it in our house here, and we got a really amazing lodger who now lives in the space that we literally in the room that I space cleared in. And my mum's always had lodgers, and they've always like triggered her or irritated her, or there's something that's not been quite right. But when I say we got a new lodger, I like a day after the space clearing, and he's incredible. Like, we don't see him, we don't hear him, he doesn't use our kitchen, like so that's another example. And then, yeah, I do it in treatment spaces as well, and that's really cool. People have massive business expansion through that as well. So yeah, that's the energy space clearing. That's a snippet of it. And then the other thing that I do is kind of allowing people to express themselves through their homes. So giving themselves the space to see their house as a metaphor and recognize what the reflections are that are coming through and from their home or the space that we're working on. And we then energy clear with colour mirrors. So I'm just using the house as a tool, really, just like colour mirrors as a tool, and putting the two together and space clearing on that level. Because I've done a lot of work with copper, and for me,
okay, hang on a minute, Emily.
Go on.
You've just said I've done a lot of work with copper. No one understands what copper is.
Yeah, all right. So I was just going to say, though, where you were saying at the start, my body, my choice, that whole kind of thing. So I was just going to say that for me, my body is my home. So
absolutely.
That's where I then see the house as a reflection of your home, you being within your body as your home. So when you take your physical house that you live in as a physical space, and you recognize that you can see it as a metaphorical concept for you and your physical body, you're actually getting quite deep quite quickly. So copper is all about the body, it's all about your earth experience, and it clears judgment, it clears numb out, so not being able to feel. So that's where we were talking about shock and trauma. Your body's in so much shock and trauma, which is the orange, but you then, when you're in a traumatized state, you go into numb out or you trip out. What else happens with copper?
It's basically about embodying self, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's about embodying self and being comfortable to be on the earth.
Yeah, for sure. Coming back into your body. Yeah. And feeling safe as well, to feel. I just sprayed earth.
Oh, nice. So I think I can answer that one for you, Tim, about Emily. Has anyone in your family before? Well, actually, I can, but I'm going to let Emily do this one, actually, because there's a question to you. Has anyone in your family before you been part of this, been or more in tune with vibration?
Good question. I would class
your mum, though.
My mum, my mum's a holistic therapist. She's a beauty therapist and a holistic therapist. She does craniosacral therapy, but that's been quite a recent journey for her, like the last 10 years. But my mum also has, she's Reiki, reflexology, aromatherapy, can't think, all of those kind of things. But she also does very, very traditional beauty therapy and skin specialist facial treatments and IPL and hair removal and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
That's what I was saying. She's got so many tools in her toolbox. And my mum has actually just qualified. I don't like the word qualified, but she's just done her colour practitioner course as well. But I'm the first person in the family to go into colour at this level. So the answer to your question would be, in my family, I'm the one that's most in touch with vibrations. But I would class my mum and dad as relatively spiritual, but also from an intellectual perspective, if that makes sense. And I'm not saying this in an egotistical way, which means I am saying in an egotistical.
Well caught.
I'm the pioneer in the family, but I'm a strong energy that has,
You're the black sheep, as everyone else would say.
I am, exactly. 100%.
The same, I'm sure, with Phil M, myself, and Tim that's just asked you that question. I'm sure he is the black sheep in his family, as well as wherever he works.
Yeah. So that's kind of
well called.
But to be fair, I've only discovered this world of vibration in the last 4 years, and I'm really only at a space in the last 6 months to a year where I can actually feel in my body, and I'll be very open and honest about that. And I was saying this to you earlier as well. It's like I've been so numbed out for a very, very long time, which makes sense as to why I'm putting this offering on in relation to people's homes as well, because your home is your body, it's you in your body, it's you as a soul.
Home is your home, right?
Yeah.
And one of the old cheesy phrases is, my body's my temple.
Yeah.
It's just people don't understand. Actually, it is. And Jason Vale had it on the back of his business card for a while, which was, if you don't make time for your body now, you'll have nowhere to live. And this is the thing that okay, sorry, Tim's just put another one up. Fascinating. I love how you are historically mending ancestral trauma, yet your parents are futuristically mending their own and ancestral trauma through you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's exactly all of us that are doing this work, Tim. That's exactly what happens. We are healing our past, present, and future energy lines.
Totally.
And and that's ancestral trauma, right? Because we're all loaded with ancestral trauma. So,
have you got ruby red?
I've got ruby red.
My ruby red's always blocked. So I have a really, really strong ancestral line on my mother's line. So
mine's on my desk right in front of the computer, actually.
My mother and my grandmother is a very, very strong ancestral line of mine.
Any questions, Phil, just to bring you back in again?
Oh, I would my mind's just wandering around. I'm just thinking about black again, and how in healing world, black is like Jing energy and like Shilajit resins and
you talking about black goo again?
Well, I'm talking about black and like the power of black in terms of healing. It's like a Jing, a grounded energy, a really powerful energy. So it can be powerful either way. But
black also absorbs all other energies. So black's like an energy black hole.
Okay.
It's also about invisibility. So the Men in Black.
Yeah.
It's all about, bodyguards. They're all like Men in Black. So they're all about you can't see me, which is what black's all about. On the level as well, black's about, I'm really psychic, but I don't want you to see that. That's why lots of teenagers wear black, because they don't want to be seen.
Yeah.
And they don't want you to know that they're psychic. Otherwise they're in trouble, right? So they wear black. But the negative side of wearing black is you're absorbing every other frequency that there is. So white, on the other hand, to black, is reflecting every single frequency that there is. And that's why, as a scene, you would wear white and not black, so you reflect all that negativity out. You actually become a reflector of negativity. So if you're wearing white, then everyone else has to look at themselves.
Interesting.
Instead of being black, where the black takes on their energy, you actually go, hang on, guys, this is your mirror. You can get and look at this now.
Also, think of like Spanish white top village, or like any European country where it's really, really hot. They all use white because it's reflecting the sun. So like my point being, Phil, is all of this as well, because it's all around us. It's just we never kind of make those connections. Everything Phil's just saying there, it's like it is a reflector. We know that. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
You are light as well. You are the reflection for others, not even having to wear white.
Mm-hmm.
So Tim's put up another comment now. He's busy tonight cooking his tea. It comes back to our conversation, Phil, about memory and DNA. To be susceptible to vibrations in a room, yet your partner might not be. You can see the spirit, but your partner can't.
Well, that comes down to perception and how open your brow is for me. That comes down to the veil. How much are you seeing past the veil? Because
and often the veil is black, right?
the veil's yellow.
Oh, it's yellow. Okay.
Yeah.
The veil is actually yellow. I like that, Emily.
Sits in yellow. Sorry, it sits in yellow. Well,
it sits in yellow. Yes. So it's While we could be a black sheep, someone before us was too. That's how we are able to feel it now. Yeah, absolutely, Tim. I mean, that's a historical thing, isn't it? Historically, there's always been a black sheep in a family. There's always been someone that gets and shakes up the status quo. So I'm sat looking at my YouTube feed, talking to it. And actually, that's no talk because my camera's up there. And Tim, love you, bro. You're up there too. I have to remember that. It's funny how I look at the person that's talking or I look at the writing that I'm reading out to someone. So I suppose it's just time and training myself, isn't it? Yes, there's always been a black sheep in the family. Basically, because it's interesting now, it's a black sheep of the family, isn't it?
Void of creation.
The void of, that feels a little bit, well, it is, isn't it? Actually, it's derogatory, isn't it? The black sheep.
Yeah, it hasn't been reversed. Yeah, it's one of those.
It's never a good thing. How the average person talks about it. So you're right. Actually, black sheep is about the void of creation. It's derogatory. So in other words, we aren't really created. We're not created. I can't think of the right word, but equally to everybody else.
Also, what's coming through for me is that whole thing where you were asking about deep earlier, and it's like I've always seen myself as someone that can go really deep, and it's like, well, what do you mean by that? And I used to get really bogged down by the fact that I can go deep, and like I used to get really upset with myself that I can go deep, and always question myself as to who I am. Who am I? Why am I here? What's the point? Whereas now, where I've explored through the black, I now just see it as my gift. I see it as a gift that I can go to the depths of infinity of places that people don't want to go to. And we don't even need to call out what that stuff is. But it's like, now I see it as a gift. And exactly what you're saying, that there's negative connotations as to what the black sheep is. Once you recognize that it's a gift, about being able to go into the depths. The deeper you go, the deeper you go, the lighter you become. It's bottle 29 as well.
I love that, Emily. The deeper you go, the lighter you become.
It's like a boomerang, isn't it? The further you pull it back, the further it's going to go. It's the same thing.
Boomerangs, you throw them. There's a slightly different analogy.
I don't mean a boomerang. I mean, what do I mean? One of those.
Like a catapult.
Yeah. Something.
The boomerang comes back.
A rubber band.
Like a boomerang comes around and smacks you on the back of the head if you're not careful, which is a bit like chasing the light, isn't it?
Yeah, not that. A bow and arrow, like, yeah.
Oh, a bow and arrow. Yeah, we can do that.
The further you pull back.
Yes.
It's the same thing. The deeper you're going to go, the higher you're going to come out.
Yeah, I want to, as we're back on that subject, I want to say that bit again now about light workers. And there's a lady called Debbie Ford, and she wrote a book called The Dark Side of the Light Chasers. And, and the reality is, remember, the closer you get to the light, the deeper the shadow.
Mm-hmm. I had that insight once. I was literally hanging out. This sounds really weird. I was hanging out my bathroom window, probably doing a colour bath, being like, I don't want to be in it. But the light, and I was playing with the light, and I got that insight. Like, the closer you are to the light, the darker the shadow.
Yeah.
It's
and either the shadow is going to engulf you and take you over, or you've got to turn around and face it. So the best thing we can actually do is to face our shadow head on in the early stage of our journey. So when we get to the light, we haven't got a massive shadow behind us. Because, it's, if you don't, it's going to bite you in the arse, and it's as simple as that. The darkness will bite your arse. It's as simple as that.
Also, though, that term, shadow work, has been twisted for me as well.
Is my word I like to use.
It's not what a vast majority of people are seeing it as. So anyway, that's again another conversation, really.
That's a whole nother conversation, isn't it, that one?
Shall I quickly finish on everything that I do with colour?
Yeah, go on.
And then we can so energy space clearing, doing like what I call home reflection sessions. I then apply that for people in their business spaces as well. So it doesn't have to be the home, it can be your treatment space, your holistic space, your office, same thing. And if people are redecorating, obviously you're choosing actual physical color. So rather than just choosing paint colors, I think this is a thing in my interior design career, is that, and weirdly, I was quite a technical interior designer, so I do a lot of fitted cabinetry drawings and technical drawings. So I didn't ever work with color. I never did what's called FF&E, so fabric and furnishings and choosing color fabrics. Never went there in my interior design career, which is really weird because I was obviously pushing it away subconsciously. But I think that was the thing that used to really bug me about working in the corporate interior design world, is that people would just get color fabrics out and just be like, oh, I just want to do a blue scheme, or I just want to do a turquoise scheme. I'm just like, there's no meaning there for me. There's no depth. Like what, So that's something else I really love to do, is if a client's going through a redecoration process, that I bring color mirrors in so that we can really delve deep. I like to say delve deeper than the surface aesthetic. So I'm giving clients the space to explore subconsciously how colors make them feel, how the colors that they're choosing going to make them feel. Is that triggering something in them subconsciously? It also brings up a lot around creative subconscious blocks as well. And that's the other thing I do as well. If people are interested on doing a design journey in a different way with me, I take them through energy clearing in that process, because behind every design decision is an energy sitting behind that subconsciously.
Wow.
So the more you can clear subconsciously on the decisions that are coming through the design process, the more amazing the space is going to feel at the end of it. So for me in the design journeys, it's about empowering my clients to creatively express themselves. They're kind of coming up with the design. I can guide them from a design perspective as well. But for me, what's more important is taking them through an emotional energy clearing process, especially for couples who might not like the same things, or they might be disagreeing on things, that's bringing up huge relationship issues. So I'm clearing on that with them. And then the beauty of it is that the end result of the space, I can't even describe it. It just feels totally different, especially when I've done this with color, because I'll be honest, the design journeys with color is quite a new thing, and where it's a long process with a build, I haven't quite seen end results. But where I've done it with color, and I've done energy space clearing on a room, and through the color selection process, it's like you walk into a space and it just feels so peaceful, like so harmonious. There's something, because you've spoken to the room, you've listened to the room, you've tuned into the energy of the room, and then you've also cleared on yourself in relation to every aspect that's coming up through the design process. So with choosing colors and paints, that's every single process. So that's driving out to the shop to buy the paint. That's your interaction you had with the guy that was selling you the paint. It's deciding on exactly which color you had. So every single thing you're energy clearing on, and the positive impact is that you're positively changing the space as well.
Wow.
aesthetically.
So I was going to say earlier, it's like you're a room whisperer.
Yeah, that has come to me. Yeah, I sometimes call it room whispering with certain people, but not everyone, because then they think I'm really weird. But
You might as well be yourself.
Yeah. But yeah, room whisper, like
the room whisperer.
It is house whispering.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
Yeah, it is really, I love it. So that's everything I do, I think.
Amazing. So where can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram. I'm at _energy of spaces, and I am on Facebook as well, but that's my Instagram. And then my website is www.emilyrosehome.design.co.uk. So that's where people can find me.
I'm just going to go on to your Instagram,
which I have to say is in a bit of a void of creation itself. So, but
people can get in touch with you, which is
totally, yeah. Just send me a direct message. Yeah.
The energy of spaces, you're there.
And then I've got a link tree on that as well. So if you click on the link, that takes you to my website and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm just going to put this on in the chat for you. So at least there's one thing in our chat then, Emily, that can link people in future.
We're on the YouTube chat as well, Phil.
Okay. So let's put that on there.
So your focus is more, do you work with people on a one-on-one level and just in terms of working with them, right? In terms of like they've got they've got something they want to work through. So do you like coach them on that kind of thing, or is that how it?
Yeah, this is where it's been a difficult decision in terms of, do I focus fully on the spaces, the energy of spaces thing, or do I just do color? I do both. Yeah, I'm essentially kind of facilitating and guiding them through clearing on their emotions, clearing on their negative emotions, and how that links into their life, their lifestyle. And I think bringing the spaces in for me is really important, because your home, your space, or your business space, it is a container that allows flow in. It's your support, it's a safe support system in your life. So it has very, very direct links to what's going on in your life as well. So yeah, I don't like to use the word coach, because I don't feel that, but because I don't feel that I am, but
where would somebody start? Like they're telling you to color, where would they start today? So
they can either come to me for one-to-one personal life transformation, and I will take them and I will just focus on them and their life, and their sessions will unravel in terms of using color to energy clear their subconscious. So that's one-to-one personals. But if people have found me through recommendations that I work with spaces, or they know that I kind of do something with spaces, they might come to me and say, oh, I've got an issue with my house, something doesn't feel right in one of the spaces, what can you do? Someone else might say, oh, I'm really struggling selling my house, we've had it on the market for over a year and it's just not budging. Other people want to redecorate, so they look at it from that side of things. Some of my clients know that I work really, really uniquely in the design process with color, so they know that they want a different experience when they're designing their home. And then other people just want general energy space clearing. They like, and in fact I had a client come through the other day and she was like, I don't really know what you do, I just know I want it, can you just explain what it is? And that kind of thing. So does that make sense and answer your question?
Great.
Yeah, anything to do with the home or business spaces, I actually love doing people's, especially for holistic therapists, in their treatment spaces, because if they're already a holistic therapist, they're more kind of open to working with color therapy, and business expansion for them through energy space clearing and through like clearing on the space and clearing on what color the space is going to be. It's just incredible. And then I tend to find, if someone does come to me just for the spaces initially, they will come to me for a few sessions as well. And so it all kind of like interlinks, because the two together, kind of energy space clearing with the space, whether that's looking at it from a design or a color or an energy level, works really, really beautifully with having sessions for that person as well, where they just get to express it. The two together are really, really strong. So yeah, that's me.
Great.
Brilliant. Sorry, Emily, I got distracted. That was my sister.
No worries.
All right. Well, it seems like the show's wound down at this point. So anything else you want to Phil, you want to say to close it out?
Let's do ruby red spray, everybody. And then I'm going to do another one after that. You ready? So let's do this ruby red. This is about being part of a clan, creating a clan, drawing in your tribe, pulling in your tribe, creating your tribe. This is tribal ritual. Here we go. And the next one I want to do, guys, because that really pulled it down lovely. The next one I want to do is Earth Star Rainbow Dragon. Ooh. A little bit of a copper color. So this is about when I spray this and I blow it, what I want you to do is accept it in eyes, nose, mouth, however it comes in, take it down through your body, out through your root chakra, about 2 feet in the ground. You're going to find your Earth Star. So I want you to wrap that energy around your Earth Star, and then imagine you've got like a ratchet and you can wind it until you can pull it. And when you just feel that pull on your knees, then stop, because that's you grounded. Okay, you're ready then. Here we go. So remember, absorb that in. Let it go right through your body, out through your root chakra, down to the ground. Send that about 2 feet in to your Earth Star chakra. Wrap the energy around that and then tighten the energy up. So you just about feel the energy on your knees, and you can feel yourself getting pulled, anchored down to the earth. That's it. And then you can relax. And if you've got your eyes closed, you can open your eyes and come back into the room, back into your body. Feeling your tribe, feeling blessed, feeling anchored in this space, and know that you are loved and safe. So this has been another amazing episode of the Phil and Phil Show. And I'm Phil.
And I'm Phil. And you can, and that's Emily.
And Emily has been our fantastic guest tonight. I'm really glad I felt to ask you on, Emily, because you've been brilliant. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Been fun.
It's been amazing. So Phil, do you want to just round that little bit up again?
So you can check us out, philandphil.com is our website. You can make a donation to support our work, and
give us a thumbs up.
You can give us a thumbs up and subscribes and loves and all those crazy things on YouTube.
Please interact with us. It's really good for us if you interact with us. It really helps build following, community, tribe. It helps to build that. And it's good for us. It's great to interact with you guys that are watching, so we get to know you and see who you are. So yeah, give us a thumbs up, subscribe. We really appreciate that. Phil vanished the minute. So yeah, if you'd like to make a donation, please go to philandphil.com, go to our donation button, press the button, follow the link. And however big or small donation, it really helps us to continue with this show. It just makes things possible, and we really love and appreciate you all.
Any final words, Emily?
Thanks so much. I love talking at this level, and it's been fun. Thank you. I'll come on again if you want me to.
Yeah, fab.
Oh, we'd love you to. So
Oh.
thanks, everyone. We bless you with a beautiful day filled with the colors that you need.
So
So we want to close it out.
yeah, I can do that.